What's up YouTube? I thought I'd come at you today with a hero deck profile just for fun because they are pretty much around the corner. Later this month they'll be dropping, and I thought I would go over what I feel is going to be a pretty decent deck that is, I mean, it's going to be one of the best budget decks, I think. I've done some testing and, you know, it sort of has okay matchups. Hopefully between now and when Necros hit we'll see some sort of hero play, and I just thought I would present my deck profile and what I feel is, you know, as best as I can get it. It's really, you know, there's a couple of questionable choices here. I'm sure there's one here you're probably already looking at, Magician of Faith, but you know, this is mostly for fun. I'm definitely obviously going to tweak it as things change over the course of time. But anyway, let's go over this a little bit. So I've got 3 Goblinberg because it's like Algady for your heroes. Like the point is, I've made this as a deck. Now the objective is to get Darklaw out as fast as possible. So if you open Shadow Mist or Goblinberg with like a Rota or an Eco, you've got your Darklaw there, for example. Goblinberg is just really good because he lets you rank 4 spam as well. So there's a couple of rank 4s in here, just because like it's really important that you have something to fall back on when your fusions start to fail. So max out on Goblinberg because you want to open it. You need to see it like ASAP. It's not very good like later, but I mean it's okay because of Shadow Mist effect you constantly search out the other heroes. So Goblinberg, even if you keep drawing it, it's like you sort of have another hero in your hand. I just feel like 3 is just, it's so important. So 3 of him and then 3 Shadow Mist, of course. He's really amazing. He searches a guy when he's sent to the graveyard, and when he's special summoned you can add a change spell card from your deck to your hand, so you want to go for mass change. I was considering other things like form change, but it's just so inconsistent. It's like a 4-card combo or something. It's just not very good. Mass change second I tried, like, so you could fuse like, you know, Monk or something, or an extra deck guy into something different, like the Wind guy. What's his name? I forgot his name. I think he lets you draw or thing. No, I can't remember. But it just, discarding a guy from your hands is just too heavy of a cost for this deck. I mean, I'm sure Burning Abyss could run Mass Change second easily. But yeah, Darklaw is just really such a good monster. We'll talk about a little more about him later. But for the monsters, 2 Neos and 2 Bubbleman. Some people could find it a bit strange, but in testing I found that you don't really want to open them, and really, like, they're just there for, like, Bubbleman at least is there for just rank 4 plays, and Alias is sort of there just, I mean, just as an extra normal summon if you've got Darklaw already up. Really, it's just sort of being there to be fodder for Miracle Fusion, and you know, sometimes you occasionally can mass change these 2 into Acid or Koga, and let me tell you that Acid is very amazing. 2 Summoner Monk, because again you're trying to get Darklaw on the board as fast as possible, and with this build you should be able to get Darklaw on the field on your first turn 90% of the time. That's why I've got Monk in here and like 50 spells. Monk is just really good. Let's go to other rank 4s as well if you don't want to go Darklaw. So the generic combo is just Monk in any spell. You get specials a Shadow Mist, and he searches Mass Change, which you set, and then in your opponent's draw phase, or you know, whatever, you use it on their turn. So it sends Shadow Mist to the graveyard, and then Shadow Mist searches out Bubbleman or Alias. And then we have this one little tech choice here. This is the only card here that I'm not certain on. It's quite funny, but you know, I was thinking, hey, you play a lot of spells, and you know, your advantage is kind of bad. So I was thinking, you know, it'd be kind of cool to like recycle Miracle Fusion or something. You know, like, she's awful to like open, don't get me wrong, but like recycling one of these spells like this, you have so many powerful spells like Hero Lives, Mass Charge, even like recycling a Rota is pretty cool, and I thought it'd be quite funny to try out. It's probably going to get changed into something else, but the way I was looking at it was like, okay, so I was playing some back row, and I was running like bottomless and solemn, and the idea was that, you know, you want to protect Dark Claw as best as you can, and the only legitimate trap I could think of was Solemn Warning, because like you play all these back row against Denko and it's like, well, they just sit there doing nothing. So there's a triple vanities, because I just feel like it's so needed. Like, just lock your opponent down like completely. Using this in the standby phase against like Shadowls, like if you know, like, well, if you think they're gonna drop a Denko on you or something, and then Call the Haunted is on and off, but like then again, it's just another way to really keep recycling Shadow Mist to get back another mass change. So the idea was that you just play so many spells instead of these traps, because, and just try Magician of Faith for fun. And you know, it's actually been surprisingly decent, because nobody expects like you to set anything in like heroes. Like there'll be occasionally a time where you set like a Shadow Mist because you've got, for some reason, you might open like 5 monsters, which can happen statistically, but that's not really what you want. That's because, you know, that's why you play like so little monsters. 13 in total, potentially 12 if you don't want to play this. It's totally optional, guys. Like, you don't need to run Magician of Faith. Try it out, it's quite funny. Like, honestly, like, recycling Miracle Fusion is so good. I'm sure there's better ways to do it, in all honesty, but anyway, what can you do, eh? Just thought I'd try something a bit different. And onto Mass Change. You know, you guys all know what Mass Change does. It's Dark Law Turbo. This is what this deck does. You get Dark Law on the field as quickly as possible. Hero Lives, again, like, first turn, it's so annoying, like, to pay 4,000 life points, but if you're playing against a deck that dies to the graveyard, then 4,000 life points is sort of worth it. Like, if you're playing against Shadowls and you just turn one Dark Claw, it's like they have to go so neg if they have the fusion in hand, or like, you know, it's not that, it's a lot. Okay, turn one, you don't want to use this turn one. If you can special Dark Law any other way, turn one, try do it somewhere else. But Hero Lives, like, it's a big cost, and it's very, I feel like the life points are very relevant in a format where everyone's like OTKing each other. But yeah, something you can recycle with Magician of Fate. Like, the advantage of Hero Lives is it's just so live. It's constantly live. It's never dead. You know, that's why it's really good. We play triple MST because we need to stop Cliff Arts and stop Vanities, because you sort of can't play Yu-Gi-Oh with this deck if you're under Vanities. And triple E-Call, I feel like the searching was a little too much. I tried cutting it down to 2, and it was actually sort of working. But then I took out the traps, and it was like, right, I have a lot of room here. You know, there's definitely room for things here. And I'm playing triple Lance because you need the battle trap for Dark Law, because he's quite small, and you don't want to play an actual battle trap like Deep Prison, because, you know, Denko is like a thing. So I thought, you know, at least if Lance is like chainable, then, you know, if they're hitting it with like Dragon or whatever, at least this is chainable, and your Dark Law will survive for a turn, unlike Deep Prison or Mirror Force, which is just gonna, you know, they're kind of just bad right now because there's quite a lot of destruction removal with things like Helix and Dragon, and generally Burning Abyss don't care about your Helix, sorry, your back row, because they sort of just float over it. The deck has quite a poor Burning Abyss match. Out of the big three, I'd say it's got the best Clifford match, and then it's Shadow's, and then Burning Abyss, like, Dante is just too big. Like, that's the problem. If Dante was like 24 or something, like same as Darklaw, then, you know, it would be doable to like get over. But this definitely has the worst Burning Abyss matchup out of the big three meta decks. Mass Charge, because just recycling into another Dark Law is good. Triple Vanities, a double Call Haunted again to recycle Shadow Mist. So yeah, this has been a sort of long-winded deck profile, but I really wanted to like talk about my thought process behind certain cards and stuff. Again, I wanted to play things like Gemini Spark, but you kind of can't do too many things with this deck. Like, you either play like this hero beat style, which is kind of bad, or you just play Mass Change and Dark Law Turbo. And I thought, okay, we're in a format where the graveyard is a thing, so, you know, just focus on Dark Claw, it's easier. But if you're living somewhere where there's a lot of Burning Abyss players, you're probably going to have quite a bad time playing this. But yeah, it's heroes. I mean, I don't think they're going to be super competitive. There's other good side deck choices. I feel triple trapstun is something I quite like because it's mostly for rogue, in all honesty. Actually, sorry, it's just come into my head now. Snatch steal. We could probably use a snatch steal, but I'm not really sure why. Like, I'm not like, you can't OTK, and I don't see snatch steal being too good in this deck. Maybe side it. I don't know. Triple royal command for Shaddolls. You don't want Shadow Mirror, obviously, because you need Shadow Mist and Dark Claw to activate. Not Dark Claw to activate. I mean, he's continuous, but he does have another effect, which I'll go over in a second. 2 Fairy Wind for Clifford, and then I've got this triple maxi as well for Burning Abyss. Burning Abyss side seems to be in between like maxi and trapstun, but I do have this little engine of trap tricks here with time space, and I might add a bottomless and a time space as well. Actually, I had bottomless in the main deck, but I just really didn't like it against Denko. But it's good against Clifford, so you know, I've got a bit of a side choice going on where I've got this little engine of trap tricks and holes, because like, you just need to stop Cliffords as quickly as possible. It's a great normal summon if you can special Darklaw, because Darklaw is really good against Scout, because they use Scout and then you just banish something out their hand. They use Sacrifice, you banish something out their hand. So this is why this deck seemed to be doing okay against Cliffords. Like, in my testing, I didn't really play against any particularly notable Clifford players or any of my friends who play them. It was just sort of random duels, and I came across a few Cliffords, and it was kind of strange at how easily they were getting wrecked by Darklaw. Like, they either had to have skill drain or they sort of just lost to Darklaw, like banishing combo pieces out their hand from, you know, their scout searches or summoners art. People always forget Darklaw's second effect. It's basically if they add a card from their deck to their hand in any way apart from drawing it in the draw phase, you banish one from the hand. So even if they upstart, you can banish a card out of their hand. So it's sort of versatile like that, and it's good against any deck. But yeah, it's quite a helmet deck, I'm not gonna lie. I tried considering Kaiser Coliseum just for funny. Why not? Like, it's kind of like okay against Burning Abyss, because you know, they need to overlay, and if you're just sitting on Darklaw, like, they can't make anything, like, they can't negate it with Alec, or is it Calcab? I think it's Alec. They can't negate it with Alec because Darklaw's up, because he's Macrocosmos on legs. And yeah, this is just for lols, I guess. I'm gonna try it at my next regional. I'm playing Shaddolls this regional because heroes aren't out, but at my next regional I'm gonna be playing Shaddol, and hopefully this will do well and I can be one of the few hero players that will top before Necros come out. Actually, I'm not sure if Necros are at the next regional, but whatever. Extra deck is just standard. You've got Koga, and for the mass change targets, Darklaw and Koga, Acid as well, and then for the Miracle Fusion you've got Shining and Ab-Zero. I think this guy was just in here for Goblinberg. Like, you banish this and a hero for Goblinberg. What did he targets it and he halves the attack of someone. Sort of, I don't know. You've just got a lot of space here. I mean, you probably want to play like some rank 4s instead. Like, I've got Escarado in here. Not too great, but it's just nice to have targets, you know, because you're not always going to have an Alias or Above Man Engrave. You might just have, like, early on, if you've got Miracle Fusion, you could potentially just have Goblinberg and a Shadow Mist Engrave, so you kind of have to go into this guy or whatever. So yeah, there's lots of room. You play Emerald to recycle some things like Shadow Mist. Dweller is good. Yeah, I don't need to explain these things. Excalibur is really good. It was quite funny. I was playing against a Clifford player, and he made turn 1 towers, you know, and turn 1 towers is like game over for 90% of decks, right? So I was just like, okay, Goblinberg into like a level 4 guy, and then overlaying to Excalibur is quite funny. Anyway, this has been very long-winded, so I'm gonna let you guys go and tell me what you think. Hopefully you found this sort of interesting and a little bit different. Please don't take Magician of Faith too seriously. It's probably gonna get removed, but try it, you might like it. So yeah, thanks guys, we'll see you around, and hopefully if you're just wanting a hero deck, you can use this as a basis for yourself and see what alterations you would make. Let me know what you would change in the comment section, and subscribe as always, and catch you next time.